You're listening to Tavern Sports Radio Network.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Show me the money. Welcome back to the Show Me the Money podcast. If you can hear my voice, you can tell I'm a bit under the weather today. I'm going to let these guys kind of take over for the podcast today. We are missing Clark and Cole, but we do have Tyler and Josh together, and we got Parker on. So still going to be a good episode, but a lot of exciting games coming up. Let's head into the first game of the weekend, or at least the most exciting game for us, I think. Iowa versus Tennessee. Tennessee 6-point favorites. Ty, what do we got on that?
Well, first off, Tennessee is currently without 7 of their defensive backs, their top edge rusher, and quite a few others. However, that doesn't matter because Iowa doesn't throw the ball. If we could throw the ball, that would be really, really beneficial for us. I'm going to take Iowa plus 6.5 because they're live at that right now. I think Iowa has a chance of winning this game outright at plus 200 on the money line. And I definitely think under 35.5.
Boys, I don't know if you saw this, but I'm pretty sure we're throwing a freshman out there.
We're not. You got Barry
We're not?
talking, or nope. That was from Kirk Ferentz burner. So
Yeah, but
no, you.
I don't know if Deacon's playing or not, because we do have. Even if he is playing, I still think Iowa covers. I honestly think we win this game.
Yeah, I mean, plus 6.5 is a little much, I think.
So yeah, the only thing that scares me about Tennessee is Tyler and I went to the last Tennessee-Iowa bowl game, the Tax Slayer Bowl in 2016-ish time frame.
It was in Jacksonville.
Yeah, we got fucking dog stomped. I learned old Rocky Top that day a lot and often.
Yeah, I think that's a different. I think this is a different Tennessee.
But without Milton in there, I think Iowa's got a pretty good shot at it. So if you can get them at 6.5 live or buy the point for 7.5, I like that a lot.
Milton's not going?
No, he's not going. They're going with a true freshman.
So it's going to be a true freshman at QB, a bunch of true freshmen and guys that were on the practice squad in the secondary. It'd be a hell of a game for Brian Ferentz to cook up a 350-yard passing game if he has that in his playbook.
That's a good joke.
But I don't think so.
They're
Parker,
still letting him call the bowl game, too.
Yeah, he's still calling the bowl game.
That's an issue.
Parker, what do you got?
For this game?
Yeah, for Iowa.
Oh, I like Iowa to cover. I want them. I think they can win outright. I know Tennessee's got a lot of players going. Iowa definitely is going to have their full roster. I mean, they all need the snaps, the reps. The more reps they get, the better their chances are to go up in the draft. And I think especially for our running backs, they're going to need to be putting in time. So, I mean, I think we're just going to have I wouldn't say we're going to have the better team in a sense, but we're just definitely going to have the most well-balanced just because they've been practicing and playing together all year. So they're going to be in more coherence together, if that's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, I think that's what you're going for.
So I definitely think that defense is just going to make that day of living hell for their quarterback. So I really do like Iowa to win here. But to be money safe, I would take them on the spread.
Yeah. Ethan, do you want to give us a pick here?
Yeah, I think it is important to note that the Tennessee quarterback, the true freshman, is the number 1 recruit of the 2023 class in all of college football. So I am interested to see what a guy who didn't play all year can still do. However, it's against a very tough Iowa defense.
This is a good welcome to the show moment for the kid. Hey, here's a top defense that's going full force besides Cooper.
Well, I'm sure he's been cooking all year on the practice squad. You don't get the number 1 guy and be like, okay, don't be ready. So, and I think they kind of saw the signs that Milton was going to move on to the NFL after this year with the way his season had been going. So I would assume they've been getting him ready. And Tennessee's defensive squad is no scrubs either. So he's been going against a good defense, but I mean, they're not Iowa.
Yeah.
Ethan, you going with the Hawks then?
Yeah, I would take the Iowa spread. I'm honestly,
Did y'all?
I'm pretty comfortable with it at 6.5. You can always buy the point, but I don't know how needed it is for this. I definitely take the under as well.
Did y'all see that 34 our Mike, what's his name? Riggins?
Mhm.
Is that how you say it? He's coming back next year too. So
That's nice.
he'll be playing in the game. I'd say if you could find a book to give you the Hawks over 1.5 defensive turnovers forced, I would take that.
Could be a chance that they could rattle the young guy, but let's move into the next New Year's Six game. Actually, the first game of the day on Monday. That's Wisconsin and LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl. That is Wisconsin plus 9.5. I personally don't have a ton of notes on this game. I know that LSU is going to be without Neighbors and they're going to be without Daniels at quarterback. I'm sure they're missing a lot of guys elsewhere. This seems just like, to me, take the dog, but I wouldn't really rely on it a whole lot.
I wanna ask you guys, because I want to get your opinions before we jump into this, because we're gonna see it quite often when talking about all these games. What's your guys' opinion on having guys sit out for bowl games?
That's their money. It sucks for betting. You have to throw all the stats out. It sucks for the people that bought tickets to the game. But I think at this point we all know if a team isn't in the playoffs, the stars that are going to the draft are not going to play. And I think you just have to get over that fact. They're making a money decision for their family. They're trying to build generational wealth, especially for a lot of these guys that, let's face it, a lot of them are coming out of impoverished areas.
Yeah.
Well, I would not risk a torn ACL in a bowl game in January when in 4 months' time I'm going to have a workout that's going to determine my entire future.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to say, though. Saban last year, they played in a non-playoff game, and Alabama actually burned everybody. Everybody stayed in that bowl game. They made it prideful. So I think it's almost a little bit of
a team
a
thing,
pride thing, a tradition thing. Some schools, a lot of guys are leaving, not even for NFL, but they're just dipping into the portal right away for the same thing. They don't want to get hurt before moving to a new team in the portal. I don't know. Personally, I don't like it. I would like to see everybody play. Bowl games used to mean a lot more when they didn't let barely 500 teams into the bowl game. So I don't know. Personally, I'd like to see the bowls as a whole just get shrunk again to where they meant more. And you actually had to be a decent team to get into them, because now there's 48 games that really, 24 games, 24 games with 48 teams. And
it's a third.
Yeah, you're pulling
a little under a third of the teams in the country get in. It's just, I mean, ideally, yeah, you'd have a bunch of the rule's 500 teams, but there weren't enough 500 teams this year.
Yeah,
to get it, or it's 6 wins, so even sub 500 really.
Yeah, depending on how many games you play, you can be sub 500, but I think it leaves, I don't know, there's a lot of just worthless football being played. I mean, it gives guys good reps and more exposure, but I would like to see it shrunk and mean more.
They'll never do it. It's too much money.
It is too much money.
NCAA makes too much money off those bowls. The sponsors make too much money off the bowls to do them. If anything, it's just going to be expanded even more to the point
That's what I'm saying. To go on to both your guys' points, I mean, there's so much money there. Why don't they do more and give more back to the winning schools to give that incentive and drive for players to play? Because I'm with you, Tyler. As a competitor growing up playing sports, I think winning a bowl game would be sweet. I would definitely come back. But then I do see the issue of being obviously if you're not in the playoffs and you're going to go in the first 2 rounds of the draft, why you wouldn't want to play. That makes sense. But it just, I don't know, just for me, it would be fun to see everybody playing, going all out. And I think as a fan, I think that's what we all want to see, is just everyone playing. It's good football.
And I think if they move the signing window back a little bit, which that's a double-edged sword that we could open up, but guys are wanting to get into the portal early so these coaches know what high schoolers they need or what other portal guys they need. So they're leaving before the games to get onto their new squad and secure a spot. Where if we moved that window back, these teams wouldn't have to focus on like last second recruiting before bowls. And some of these guys who are like transferring out would still play. But that rule with, the early signing days and stuff have been around for so long that it's not going to change. But I think that's something that could prevent as many of these. It's really like the 2024 preseason now. You're seeing all the young guys, or you're seeing the holes that you're getting filled next year. You might get a look. Tennessee, we get to see, what this number one prospect could have been or could still be. But I don't know. I really am not a fan of it.
I think we're looking at what will become the next evolution of NIL. I think these bowl committees, because each bowl has its own committee to select teams, and I think they have to make bids and stuff. I think that's how it works. I think eventually those committees are going to start paying these top level guys hey, we'll give you $2 million to play in this game.
Yeah, but the thing is it's always going to turn out to NFL money. But let's jump back into Wisconsin and LSU. 9.5 seems like a lot for a team that's not going to have all their top guys going. But Wisconsin was, to me, this season never that great. It's technically a 8-3 team versus 7-5 team, but I think LSU just all season they had a tougher schedule. I mean, it is the SEC, and Wisconsin's no powerhouse like they were projected to be at the beginning of the season. And by powerhouse, I mean winning the Big Ten West, which isn't the most amazing feat in the world. But I don't know, this whole season or bowl season, it seemed like the dogs are barking. So I would say take Wisconsin because I don't know how juiced LSU is to be here. But in the sense of overall athletes, I think LSU is much better equipped. So,
well, and they got that high end D tackle or defensive end and there's no way he's going to go.
No, they're losing a lot of guys on both sides to the draft. So it's going to be a bunch of fill-ins over there. It's just how good is their depth.
Wisconsin feels good.
Yeah, I mean, this defense for LSU, I mean, we've seen them give up points. So it's just if they're filling in, are they really going to be that much better? Because if those were the guys that were playing, you know what I mean? So I think Wisconsin's got a good enough offense to be able to hang in there. But, I mean, they got a decent defense. I mean, they're one of the better teams that have a good defense in the Big Ten. So, I don't know. Without Jaden Daniels and Neighbors in there, it's going to take a little bit pressure off that deep ball. Not saying there won't be any, but there's not, you know what I mean? Just it's a lot different game planning for those two than it is for what is about to come. So, I mean, I like Wisconsin. I'll probably stick with most Big Ten teams because I want to see our conference do good before it gets expanded.
Well, the more I think about it, why is Wisconsin in a New Year's Six bowl?
They're not. That's on Saturday. It's on the 30th.
No, it's not. It's Monday at 11 a.m.
Bowl.
It's Monday at 11 a.m. That's Jesus. A New Year's Six bowl. It's not one of the super high ones, but Wisconsin's technically in a New Year's Six bowl, which I don't think they should be. And that's going to actually make me flip to LSU minus 9.5. Why is Wisconsin in this game?
Well, let's get off of New Year's for a minute because we skipped a couple good ones. On Friday, the day this will come out, we got number 9 Missouri versus Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, which I thought that was always a New Year's Six bowl, but it's not on New Year's this year for some reason.
There's a bunch of different ones now. Since last year or something, they've been changing. Yeah.
They rotate them.
Anyhow, number 9 Missouri plus 3.5 going against Ohio State. No Kyle McCord. He has officially transferred to Syracuse.
Yep.
Marvin Harrison, I would bet dollars to us is not touching the field. Same with Mbuka. Can you think of anybody else? They're running back?
They're out everybody. Everybody pretty much is gone.
Whereas Missouri, is their running back going? I think that's the only thing that matters.
I believe
so. Yeah, I like Missouri here.
If Missouri's running back is going, give me them plus 3.5.
I'm going for Missouri as well, strictly on the fact that Ohio State's in this thinking, we're not in the New Year's Six. All our guys are gone. Who cares? And they're like an established program in college football, whereas Missouri's on the up and up. And I think Missouri's going to play this game serious. They want to win a Cotton Bowl. They want to have a win over Ohio State under their belt. I think this is a big culture game for them. I think this sets a tone for next season for them.
And it's not a New Year's Six, but I'd rather win a Cotton Bowl over a
Real Quest
Yeah.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they're going to go hard in the Cotton Bowl, and I'm going to side with Missouri as well, plus 3.5.
yeah, this is one of those that they're gonna use as a recruiting tool.
Oh yeah.
If they win this game, they're gonna say we won a Cotton Bowl last year. We beat Ohio State last year in said Cotton Bowl. Now, who's going for Ohio State at quarterback? Do we know?
I'm not sure of who it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you boys. I like this Mizzou team. They're already starting to get some decent sized recruits, some nice 4-stars. I think they might have snagged a 5-star somewhere in this portal, or not portal, or
out of high school from
exactly. So I mean, they're on the come up. So I'm with you, Tyler. They're gonna be wanting to play this game because it's the Cotton Bowl. I mean, everybody. You hear the Cotton Bowl, and it's like that's a prestigious bowl to be in, and to play a top program like Ohio State, who's been in the past 10 years to playing in the playoffs and probably most of them. And then I think this is going to be a big game for them. And like you said, this is going to help solidify them becoming another horse in this race for college football.
Yeah, I'm excited for Missouri. I think they're really turning things around down there, and if they got the thicker kicker going, I'll ride with them one more time. You know, it's going to be a nice game for him down there in Texas, and it'll be a good time. So I think we're all plus 3.5 with Mizzou. Then.
Yeah, right. Team right, 3.5.
Ethan, you good with that, or you want to take Ohio State?
That's a good question. I kind of forgot Ohio State lost their quarterback. Oh Jesus! Give me Mizzou.
All right. Well, let's go to another traditional New Year's Six Bowl that again is being played on the 31st. Number 11 Ole Miss versus number 10 Penn State in the Peach Bowl. Ole Miss catching 4.5.
You know, I haven't actually looked at anybody in this game being in or out, but I really think that is Jackson Dart going? Do we know? Anybody know?
I haven't seen where he hopped in the portal or declared, so I would assume unless he's hurt.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if this Penn State team should really be favored. Like, I think Ole Miss, they showed me that like they can play a tough schedule. They had to go on the road to Bama this year. And, you know, they looked good all season long. I think their passing game is something that Penn State hasn't really seen all year. Michigan ran it on them all, like when they played. Ohio State pounded the rock on them. So I think they're not going to be ready for Jackson Dart's passing attack. And I'm going to take Ole Miss plus 4.5 for that. I was actually really hoping Iowa would play Ole Miss in a bowl game this year, but not that lucky.
I think they're both full go, is what I'm kind of finding here. I don't know if anybody's sitting out.
I just found a list for Penn State. Give me a second. Let me read it. Opt-outs. Chop Robinson, which makes sense. I think he's a projected first-round guy. Theo Johnson at tight end is an opt-in. Tyler Warren at tight end is an opt-in. Adisa Isaac, I think is how you say it, at defensive end is an opt-in. Yeah, they just have one guy that isn't going. I don't see anything. The only undecided, according to this, and this was published at 4 p.m. today, the tackle has not decided, but I would be shocked. Like, you are a top 10 pick. Why would you risk rolling an ankle?
Yeah. And then for Ole Miss, I'm seeing one opt-out, which is their defensive end. So
if it's not Dart or their running back, right? Because they got a good running back over there. If it's not either one of those, I think I like another dog here in Ole Miss plus 4.5.
Yeah. Parker, what you think?
This one's tough. I think this is going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a good defensive battle game. Either Penn State's offense just really hasn't done it for me this year. So I think I'm going to have to go with Ole Miss for that reason. I just think Ole Miss has a better offense and they're going to be able to do more throughout the game. But it is the Big Ten, so I think I'm going to ride with Penn State so the Big Ten can get some more wins.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to see that the Big Ten's beating the SEC, but especially with this one, this is a true, like, if we beat
who's
them,
got who's
there's
got
no
who's the favorite?
Penn State.
Penn State.
Penn State's the favorite.
That's what I'm saying.
Ole Miss to cover though.
It feels like it's gonna be a hostile crowd for Penn State, being in Atlanta, that close to Mississippi.
Yeah, Ole Miss fans travel. Ole Miss fans
Penn State
get up.
fans travel, but too though they're Big Ten fan base, and the good Big Ten fan bases travel. Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, they travel.
Yeah, I think the passing attack for Ole Miss is going to be too much for Penn State. I don't think they've seen that all season.
I agree.
And I think
they played Ohio State and Michigan, but
those were run games.
Michigan ran all over them.
Yeah.
And Ohio State did the same thing.
Yeah, it was more pound the rocks in those games instead of Lane Kiffin is a full on aerial assault, and that's what they're going to have to be ready for.
The last traditionally New Year's Six that's not being played on New Year's is Georgia playing Florida in the Orange Bowl, or Florida State in the Orange Bowl. The line's 19.5, so I don't want to talk a lot about it, but more just what's going on with Florida State, where they voted to leave the ACC, and the SEC has already rejected their application because Florida blocked it. So we could be talking about a future Big Ten team going up against another SEC school. That being said, I don't see Florida State winning it, and at plus 890, you're definitely not going to get me to sprinkle the money line there.
No, Florida State's without Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, and tight end Jaheim Bell. Their now leading receiver only has 13 catches on the season, playing in this game. And, of course, they're down to true freshman quarterback Brock Glenn, the one who played against Louisville.
Oh, Louisville, yeah.
And he didn't look phenomenal against Louisville, and they have a good defense. So it's really going to be relying on Florida State's defense in this game. I can't really find a good opt-out list for Georgia, but
I'd be shocked if Brock Bowers goes. Other than that, I don't know about their defense this year. If their center, but I doubt he doesn't go because of how integral that position is. But their center is going to be the number one center taken. He'll probably be a day two guy, like a late day two guy, but I know there's a lot of buzz about him.
So it says Georgia has lost 15 players to the portal, but nobody substantial. And all of their players who have declared for the draft, none of them so far have opted out as of 2 days ago from this report. So I think that's going to be more of a game time decision. Let's see. But I think Georgia has a point to prove in this game. They want to win. They want to win convincingly and say, why did we get left out?
But at the same time, I think Florida State has the same thing. If Florida State wins this game, they make the committee look like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, but I just don't see them doing it without their three leading receivers.
I don't either.
So
without Travis. But I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. When there's a ball on the field, you got a chance.
Yeah, I'm going to probably give this one to Georgia just on the fact that Florida State isn't really playing anybody. I mean, if they still had their full team back there and some of their defensive guys, because I'm assuming some of them are going to leave if they already have offensive players leaving. I think Kirby's in that locker room telling them, hey, guys, we need to make a statement, like you said, Ty. I think they got a point to prove. They're going to come out, and it could get real ugly. Kirby could put up a lot of points here and be like, yo, what the heck?
Yeah, I just I see Kirby having the traditional foundation of we're going to play in this bowl game. We're going to win. It means a lot to our school. It means a lot to our donors, blah, blah, blah.
Again, Orange Bowl, big goal.
Big bowl game to win here. And I just think they're going to be able to move the ball well, and Florida State's going to struggle to move the ball against Georgia's defense. That is they're a great defense. So I think Georgia wins this, and I really think Georgia covers as well. As many points as it is, it's scary.
See, I'm going to take
What is it again?
19.5. And I'm going to take Florida State at 19.5 just because I think there's a good chance in the second half, if they're up 17, they pull everyone and look to next year.
They could do that.
Them being Georgia.
Yeah.
Them being Georgia, because Florida State's already going to be getting a look the whole game. And, who knows? Maybe these kids are fucking studs for Florida State and give them a game, but I doubt it. But I'd be surprised if Brock plays the second half for sure, if he's playing at all.
Yeah, and that is a concern. He's been injury prone all season. So I could see him getting a little action, but then maybe just sliding out, getting a touchdown for a curtain call, and then leaving in the second half or so. So, Parker, which side are you going here then? Josh and I are split.
I'm going with Georgia.
Okay. Ethan, do you have a pick here?
I think Georgia's going to kick the shit out of Florida State. I don't think Florida State will honestly come close to covering.
Got it. The last game being played on actual New Year's Day, that's not the playoffs, is Liberty at Oregon. A little thing here is Liberty was the non-group of 5 team, or the
non-power 5 team with the best record.
Yes, the group of 6 team, New Year's 6 bowl.
Yeah, it gets an automatic New Year's 6 bid.
Liberty on selection day, they actually interviewed the coach after they found out that they were playing in this game. And when asked how long the team would be celebrating for, or if they should start preparing, the coach said, "When I saw we were playing Oregon, I thought, hell, we might as well just keep celebrating." And that is a bold statement for a team that is 16.5-point underdogs to this Oregon offense that isn't going to have Bo Nix, isn't going to have a majority of their studs, I believe. But I think Oregon gets it done strictly off of man meat. I think they're too big, too fast. Their players are at Oregon and not at Liberty for a reason. And the guys who are at Liberty for a reason.
Liberty Bibberty been bibberty though all year.
Yeah, they've been pretty good.
Against
squad.
who, though? Against who?
They statistically had the easiest strength of schedule this season.
Did they?
Yes,
they don't play
played
anybody.
The easiest strength of schedule.
I think it's a freaking joke that they're here in a New Year's Six Bowl, to be honest with you guys. I think it's the biggest joke.
Well, they're the winner of the power of the group of 5 lottery. That's what happens.
Yeah, it just sucks.
But they literally didn't play fucking anybody.
No, they literally had the easiest strength of schedule.
They didn't even play like a power.
Which could help them though in this case, because if Oregon's sending a lot of people, them just playing together. But I'm with you guys. I think Oregon still wins this game.
They haven't played a Power 5 school all year.
I don't know if Oregon.
They didn't play a Power 5.
They have not played a Power 5 school either.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if Oregon will beat them as bad as if they were full roster, but they'll definitely win.
Oregon is losing a lot.
Yeah,
too.
no Bo for sure.
No. And they're out like their top receiver, top running back. But again, I think that there's no way that this Liberty team is going to be ready for the Oregon defense that put Penix in trouble for 2 games and played a gauntlet in the Pac-12 this year.
What a compliment.
Went into Utah and beat the brakes off Utah. Like, this Oregon team's no joke, and they've been in some situations where these backups have had to play and got to play just because of the scoreboard. This team can throw points up like nobody's business. So I'm going to take Oregon here in the points.
Who's the quarterback for Oregon? Do we know?
I believe
he's not true. Is he a true freshman? They have someone transferring in, right?
It is Ty Thompson playing in this game. He's a former 4-star, number 81 in the class of 2021. He's played 17 games at Oregon. He's 42 of 66 with 456 yards.
So he was the starter before Bo came, it sounds like.
I don't think so. I
No?
think all of his stats are backup stats from when
stats.
he's come in. He's played in 17 games and only has 456 yards. I think he's getting garbage time reps.
Yeah.
But I'll take him over Liberty any day of the week, I think.
Yeah, again, it comes down to strength of schedule. Even the guys that Oregon doesn't have, like the guys that Oregon does have going, they'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
I don't think they're going to be the school that loses to the group or the non-Power 5 school. I don't think they'll be that team.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not talking money line here. We're talking spread 16.5. Like that's a big number.
They've covered 16.5 on so many better teams. I think I'm going to. Oregon.
But here's the thing, but now you're going to be without Torrey Franklin. You're going to be without Bo Nix. You're going to be without their probably top running back. That what's his name? He's got a cool last name. Crap. What's his face? But that's what I'm saying.
Dante Dowdle?
No.
Or Dodo?
Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't see it happening, that's just me. But if you guys want to take liberty and die on that sword, you go for it.
It wouldn't be not
Florida State. I'm good on it.
Yeah. It's not outrageous to take liberty though if Oregon's going to be dropping a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Like I can see the thought process behind it, and if you threw them into like Liberty to your teaser and got them all the way up to like in the close to the 20s, that could be kind of nice too, but we'll see. What's the next game we got?
We're going to actually move into the playoffs now. And let's start with the early game, which is number 4, Bama, and number 1, Michigan. And Michigan is favored by 1.5 and is minus 130 on the money line. I'm just going to say it. I think the winner of this game wins the national championship. I think this is the more prolific game. I don't think it'll be as exciting as the late game to watch, but I think this is like the true game. Michigan's never seen a team like Bama. Bama plays totally different than anybody in the Big Ten does.
Didn't they just play them last year?
No,
they played Georgia.
They lost to TCU.
Oh, was it?
TCU they lost to TCU in the semifinals, and TCU got absolutely whopped by Georgia. So JJ McCarthy's been there, Harbaugh's been there recently, and they couldn't get it done against that team. I don't see him getting it done against Saban and the boys. I will be on Alabama money line. So that's where I stand with this game. But what do you guys think?
You gave Saban 2.5, 3 weeks to get ready for a football game. Scary situation. It's hard to go against Saban, especially in bowl season or in playoff time, because he's been there, he's done that. He's going to be there again and do it again. I like Bama, but I don't like Bama or Michigan to win outright, or like win the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
I would agree with that statement. I think you didn't really give us an answer. Are you going with Saban, Josh?
Oh yeah, I'm on Bama. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Michigan, boys. I think I'm going to take Michigan here.
As much as I would like to see Michigan win, okay? Alex, I know you're listening. I'm sorry. I picked Bama, but we all hate Bama.
Everyone hates Bama.
Everybody's tired of Bama. The whole debacle of why is Bama even here? I mean, Bama's going to show up and tell you why they should be here. And like you said, you gave them 3 weeks to prepare for a game. Saban's not looking ahead.
Saban knows every single one of your weaknesses. Anything that they exploit on Michigan, Saban knows the instant McCarthy's going to snap the ball, and he has the guys on the defense side of the ball that are heady enough that he can relay that message to.
Yeah.
They are going to be getting off that ball like fucking bullets.
I do agree that it's gonna be a hard day, and I think it's just because Michigan hasn't really faced anybody like Alabama. Alabama's been playing down in the SEC where that intensity is already there. I think it might be a really like a 0-0 first half, and then once things start getting in the groove, I think it'll go back and forth. But I do think Michigan's gonna win. Like, yeah, Alabama's dogs are gonna be there, but this is Michigan's year to try to do it. And if they're gonna do it, they definitely have the pieces to do it this year.
The thing is, in this game, I think for Michigan to win is controlling the ball with Blake Corum and relying on their defense. It's going to be a time of possession game
which screams under to me.
Yes,
4.5.
It screams under. But for Alabama, they were in a playoff game against Auburn. It was a playoff game.
They played three playoff games at this point.
Yeah,
already. Ever since the Texas loss, they've played playoff games.
Yeah,
they've been on a playoff game since week 3.
Yeah, I mean, they've had to win for so long, and they've come back. They shouldn't have been down to Auburn, but they were, and they won.
They shouldn't have been down to USF, but they were,
and they won. And
clock's running out.
They actually looked really good against Georgia. My thing with Alabama, and it has been all year long, is their offensive line is too penalized. Penalties will kill you this game. Jalen Milroe has to be smart with the ball. I personally don't think he's a great quarterback. He even came out in an interview and said Bill O'Brien didn't think he should be a quarterback. So he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Everybody's telling him he's not a quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. But yet he's winning games. He's making it happen. If Milroe is safe with the ball and smart with the ball while still delivering downfield strikes and their O-line gets out of their own way, I think Bama should handle Michigan.
I don't even know how much is going to be up to Milroe. I think it's going to be a ground and pound game on both sides. And then when it comes down to it, who can throw the ball better? And you're talking Milroe versus a potential first-round pick.
This game is going to come down to who wins on the line. I know that's common, but like it really truly is, because if Michigan's line isn't holding their stud defensive ends and tackles, they won't be able to get their run game going, which won't open their passing game. Now, if you talk about Alabama, their offensive line has been penalized the most than it's ever have, and I think they're one of the top penalized teams this year in college football on the line. So they're going to have to be playing smart, and if they keep getting penalties and moved back, I mean, Michigan has a good defense, so like if you got to rely on Milroe to throw the ball, it's going to be a long day. Exactly.
They can't get behind the sticks. They have to stay in front of the sticks.
The under of 44.5, as we continue to talk, just feels so free. It scares me what Vegas knows.
Yes. I mean, I think it's a good line. So that's what, 23 to 20 game keeps you under.
And I don't see that many points happening with these defenses.
Well, I mean, Bama put up quite a few on Georgia. They hung over 20 on Georgia's defense just a couple of weeks ago. I mean,
it's good on good, man. It's good on good.
The production could be there, but I think it will be a defensive game. I think it's going to be a chess match between Saban and Harbaugh. And Saban's been there, done that. He's been in the playoffs so many times the last 10 years.
Got the t-shirts.
Yeah, he knows how to do this. He knows how to game plan for it. He knows how much time to give the guys off. He knows how to get them straightened up and in line for these games. So I think let's just go through our final picks. I'm going to go Bama money line. Don't even give me the point. I'll take a money line.
At 1.5, you should always take money line. Give me Bama.
Give me Michigan. But I don't know if you guys noticed it. There was like a little thumbs up that appeared on your screen. That was like yellow.
Yeah, it's this new thing Zoom did, and they'll update it.
That was cool. But yeah, no, give me Michigan. I want Michigan on the money line. What's the spread at?
1.5.
Which at that point, it's pretty much just pick up. Yeah, give me Michigan
on the money line.
Ethan, do you want to give us a pick here?
I would also ride on Michigan. Give me Michigan -1.5.
Yeah.
I want Michigan to win, but I will put my money on Saban.
Yeah, and then whichever side of the game you are on here, parlay with the under. Just do it.
Yeah. I mean, let's get into, I think, what our favorite game to talk about is going to be.
Fucking excited.
And that's going to be a rematch of a bowl game last year, Texas and Washington. My Huskies, our Huskies, we've been riding them all season long. They've been the underdog in every big game they've played.
And they won
every single time. And you gave 3 weeks to Penix to be healthy.
To get healthy. That's the important part. He has not been healthy the last couple games. He was not healthy.
No, and I agree.
Same with Rome.
Odunze.
Yeah, Rome was struggling.
Punctured a lung and had a broken rib and has been playing for like the last 3 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. So this could be a well-rested team against a Texas team who at times this year has looked
great
when they went into Bama and beat Bama. But then at other times, they looked like they shouldn't be on the field with teams that are lesser than them. I feel like this is the team that gets up for the big games, but I think to be a national champion, you have to get up for every game. And Washington has been in some dogfights, but they always came out on top. And they were a team that
played in a much harder conference this year.
Yes, I agree.
Much harder conference.
Texas only got in strictly because they dominated Oklahoma State, and they wanted to put Bama in, which means you had to put Texas in.
Yeah.
Because of that road victory they had over Bama. I'm going to go with the team who's been in the battles and come out on top every single time. Neutral site, at home, on the road. Go ahead and give me Washington plus the 4.5. I'll take a money line as well. But for my official pick, give me them plus 4.5. Even if they lose, this is going to be, I think, just like their games against Oregon. And it's going to be tight to the very end. It's going to be a nail biter. You're not going to be able to sit back in this game. I think it's going to be edge of the seat the entire time.
I would agree with that statement to the fact that Texas has no defense. I mean, it's semi there, but they always give up a lot of points. And when you got Michael Penix throwing the ball, especially we've seen this Texas offense, if they don't come out and they come out slow and have turnovers, I think Washington could get up early. And honestly, I could see Washington winning by 2 scores here. I think it could be like a high 30, low 20 game. But also, if it is, Texas's offense is there and looking good. Washington's got a decent defense, but that Texas offense is very explosive, and it could be a long back and forth shootout. And I think that's kind of what we're all hoping for, is just this big shootout game that we're all expecting. 2 high-powered offenses going at it. This to me is, like you guys, the game of the week. This is the one I'm most excited for to watch, and I think it's going to be a great game. But give me Washington. I like the money line. If it is going to be a shootout, but I would take them on the spread because I think they're going to win by a touchdown or more.
And I like to say about this Texas team, when they have been in these games, like Kansas State, they had to take the overtime. They should have never been in overtime with them.
No, they won by
TCU,
3.
who we openly dragged TCU on this show.
At the beginning of the year.
TCU was like week 8.
No, I'm saying we drugged TCU at the beginning of the year after getting dog walked by Colorado.
And TCU took them 29-26. So even like mediocre defenses are able to shut down this Texas offense at times. Well, they beat
Houston by a touchdown.
Yeah.
You can't beat Texas beating Houston by a touchdown.
This Texas team has been super shaky, super up and down, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, they should have beaten these teams way more handedly. Like, they shouldn't have even been in close games and in sweats, but they were. And we're saying Washington has like a good-ish defense, because they are, but they are able to bow up at the times they need to.
Well, they're good at forcing turnovers. They get pressure on, and when pressure gets put onto them and a bad ball gets thrown, those cornerbacks break, and they break hard. They would rather give up a 60-yard play than miss out on an interception.
Yeah, and the game they did lose to Oklahoma is a very similar offense to Washington's. It's take the deep shot. We have a gunslinger quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, who he's transferred out from there now. But when they played, it was a very similar offensive style to Washington. So I'm going to go ahead and take Washington in the explosive game, in the shots downfield of Rome Odunze. I think they're able to get it done.
Yeah, I'm with you guys here. I like Washington a lot. I mean, I don't think anyone on this podcast would be going against Washington with how hard we've rode them all year. Maybe look for maybe a live bet if Washington comes out and doesn't score in the first two possessions. Maybe hedge with a live bet on Texas, because if they come out that slow, who knows? Not seen these guys play in almost a month now. Who knows how Penix's arm is really feeling, how his body's really feeling. I mean, it should be good theoretically, but we just don't know.
Yeah, I'll take the healthy, like a team that has
presumably healthy.
Yeah, I mean, they were in playoff games, like we said with Bama. They've been in a playoff game. They were in a conference where if you lost one game, you weren't getting it, and they ran the gauntlet. They beat Oregon twice.
Well, and they literally played the last game they played was quite literally a playoff game.
Yes, winner of Oregon and Washington was going to go.
The committee was looking for any reason to not put the Huskies in this year, evident by still favoring the Ducks. Yeah, after they already beat the Ducks once. So when you got a team that doesn't have die in them, you just kind of have to ride with them.
Yeah.
And on that note, the national championship odds have Washington at plus 650. Could be worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you bet Washington plus 650 now to win it, and then even if they make it to the game and you take your cash out, it'll be sizable because they're there. If you put 100 on it, I could see your cash out being in the 230 range so. If they win the game, honestly, if you don't want to actually physically bet this game money line, betting the plus 650 to win the national championship could be a good bet to have in your back pocket. But Parker, I know you're with us on Washington. Ethan, I'm not even going to make your sick ass talk. I know you're on Washington. You've been on them all year with us. So unless you come out of the woodworks and pick Texas here, I'd be really surprised. No comment from Ethan. All right, so we got that pick right.
I would assume Cole would be the only one that I would assume might switch here, because Cole's kind of a wild card. I'd like to think Clark would side with us, but who knows with his Big 12 bias.
No, I think Clark would be with us on this one, I think. Those guys are out. They're handling things.
I mean, it's still the holidays.
Still the holidays. Sorry about last week not having a show, but,
Family
people have lives.
First, man.
So, Josh, you want to read? No? All right, hand it to me. I'll get it. All right. This episode of Show Me the Money is brought to you by Tavern Sports, your place to get fun sports content, sportsbook lines and parlays, and of course, food reviews with Big E's Ballpark Bites. You can follow Tavern Sports on Instagram at Tavern Sports 2023, TikTok at Tavern.sports, and Twitter at Tavern Sports 23. Let's get into our NFL lines.
A little NFL action.
Little bit. We'll fly through this. I think not Texas. I think NCAA and the bowl season is upon us here.
Well, we're trying to keep a quick one, too.
Yeah. So I think that's going to get our main entree. This little dessert. Lions at the Cowboys. Cowboys are minus 5.5. This is a big game.
Yeah, huge game.
However, I think I'm going to side with Dallas at home because Detroit has looked faulty at times, and they get in their own way. Specifically against the Bears is what's sticking out to me. And then against the Saints when they go up 21-0 in the first quarter and are barely hanging on to cover at the end of that game. I'm going to go with the consistent Cowboys. And I don't like the Cowboys. I hate calling them consistent. But at home, in Jerry World, the ball's moving. They're getting up and down the field. They're still trying to fight for the number one. I don't know if they're in for the number one seed, but definitely getting the top spot in the NFC East is still available for them. So I'm going to take Dallas at home in a game where it means more for them. Detroit is pretty much all but locked down
the North,
and they have locked in a playoff spot. Or they did lock in the North.
Yeah, they locked the North last week.
They clinched the North last week.
Not much to play for.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Dallas.
A home football game, a home playoff game. There's, obviously you could always play for that second one, which I think they would need to get to the NFC Championship. But I don't think first overall seed's out of the question for them. I think they need a lot of help.
Yeah, I mean, could be a preview of a playoff game, though. We could be seeing this game here in a couple weeks. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take Dallas at home, though. And then if they see each other at Ford Field in the playoffs, if Eagles clinch the NFC East, I could see it going the other way in Detroit. But in Jerry World, I'll take Dallas minus the 5.5. Parker, what do you got to say here?
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is Dallas. I mean, they usually don't, when they get smacked in the mouth by a good team, they kind of coddle away. But I mean, they have looked good against some of these bigger and better teams. But I don't know. This Lions team's got something to prove, and I think Dan's going to get them going for this game. I'm going to take the Lions to cover, or to cover.
The only way for the Lions to get a better playoff spot is they have to win out and have to get a little help at the top.
So not a whole lot to play for the Lions. Then
What they had to play for is they can control their own destiny. They can try. They can do what they can do, and that's about it.
So what's Dallas's record and what's the Eagles' record?
10-5 and 11-4.
Okay, so Dallas.
Do they play Week 18?
I want to say they've played both games already.
Let me look real fast.
But I'm going to go ahead and take Dallas at home and a chance to try to still clinch
They got the Commies
the
next
East.
week.
But if the Eagles win, that means this week, then Dallas can't clinch. So I'm going to take Dallas to win this week because they need it to try to fight for the East.
I don't. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Lions have much to play for. Just based off what I just looked at, the Eagles have the Giants and the Cardinals, and Dallas has Detroit and the Commies. I mean, that's kind of where it comes down to. Looking at that, I'd say really Dallas doesn't have much of a chance either. I mean, Dallas is kind of going to be this ugly duckling at 5th.
Yeah.
Without looking at the Niners Week 18, they have the Commies this week, and I would assume somebody from out west next week.
Yeah.
So
who are you taking here?
I don't know, dude. I'll stick with the NFC North. I think the Lions play good when they have to. I feel like they play to the level of their opponent.
Okay. Ethan, do you have anything for us here?
Yeah, I really actually like the Lions at plus 5.5. I think that's too many points. My one concern is that the Cowboys are at home, so I'm still going to take the Lions plus 5.5.
What's our next game?
Next game's Dolphins at Ravens. Ravens giving 3 points.
The Ravens are -3.
Yeah, giving 3
Okay.
points.
I'm going to take the Ravens at home. Ravens
own the number 1 seed. Dolphins own the number 2 seed. I don't know how tiebreakers work, but I think if the Dolphins win here, they flip head-to-head. Is that the first tiebreaker?
Yeah, head-to-head's the first tiebreaker. So I would say Ravens at home is going to be a tough ask. But
yeah, head-to-head. So this feels like 9-6. Yeah. So barring both of these teams losing out, this is for the number 1 overall seed and a bye in the AFC.
And I think Baltimore is going to need it. I think Baltimore is going to need it to advance in this playoffs. And they're the second favorite to win the Super Bowl right now, which is crazy because they've kind of been a sleeper team all season. The Dolphins have had all the storylines. They've hung 70 this year. The offense is electric to watch. They have hard knocks. The vibes are high. But the Ravens are nitty-gritty, and they're going to win this game in a cold one in Baltimore. That's my take with it.
It's in Baltimore. Do we know? Are you assuming it's cold, or do you know it's cold?
It's going to be January in Baltimore. I'm pretty damn sure it's going to be cold. Parker, you got a take here?
Yeah, so I was kind of sleeping on the Ravens when they played the 49ers, and
It'll be 48.
they looked like they knew how to play some football. They looked really good, to be honest. I don't think. I mean, I think this is going to be a shootout game, but I think the Baltimore's defense is there. I think they got some dogs over there on that side of the ball, and I think I'm going to take the Ravens on this one.
I'm with you. I like the Ravens. Ethan, anything to add, or you want to stay out on this one?
Yeah, I really like the Ravens. They did me well in my last lock of the week. We might revisit that soon.
All right. Our next game is Saints at the Bucks. Bucks are -2.5, and don't look now, but Baker Mayfield's in the playoffs.
Baker Mayfield's a dog, always has been, always will be. This kind of feels like winner locks up the South, losers out of the playoffs.
Yeah, who is in the lead in the South right now?
The Bucks.
The Bucks are.
They're 8-7. The Saints are 7-8. I don't know how the head-to-head works out, but
It'll be, yeah.
But they play 2 games, so I don't know how the first one went.
I don't either. I'm going to go ahead and take. It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa.
I'm going to take Baker, trying to prove a point that he's still got it and that this Bucks defense is still alive.
It's gonna be rough watching them getting absolutely pounded in the first round, but
yeah, somebody's got to do it. So I'll take Baker and the Bucks winning this one. Parker,
I love that pick. I said it the last time we were on this podcast. I liked Baker down there. I think this is a good fit for him. And they still have all the pieces. They just needed some dog back there that's been around the block a couple times to take command and do something with that talented Bucks roster that they got. And give me the Bucks here.
I love the Bucks. I love Baker. -2.5 all day, every day.
Ethan.
Yeah, same thing. Baker has been killing it this year. Actually, he's a significantly better quarterback this year than Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes by the stat. So, give me Baker.
Patrick Mahomes asked, confirmed.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, we have Cincinnati going into Kansas City. Kansas City is -6.5 after getting thumped on Christmas Day by the Raiders in Kansas City. Now, the Chiefs are going to have something to prove here. I think the Chiefs are still in the lead for their division.
Yeah, but can you really prove anything against the Bengals this year? I mean, good for you. You came out and beat Jake Browning. Dog. Don't get me wrong. Dog.
I think the Jake Browning train might be ending. Who did they just play? Because he did not look good. He looked really, really bad in his last outing.
The Vikings, right?
Yes. Yeah, and he looked really poor. Do the Bengals still have a chance to make it in?
They are considered on the bubble. If currently 24, if they win 57, according to this.
So a 57% chance if they win. I don't think they win, but I think they could cover.
The issue is they don't control the North. They can't control the North. And the Brownies are very far ahead of them. Like, I think the Browns would basically have to lose out, which
they can still get in.
They're losing to the Jets right now and just fumbled again.
No, they're beating the Jets.
Are they beating the Jets right now?
Yeah, they're up 20-7. That doesn't matter, though. The Bengals could still get in with the Browns getting in. It's going to depend on the Texans and the Colts.
Really, the Bills and the Colts more than anything.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals to cover, but the Chiefs to win, and I think the Bengals' playoff hopes die this week. I think Jake Browning's gonna get exposed again. There's finally film on him. They know what to do. Andy Reid's gonna have time to plan something up to make up for the embarrassment, and that's what it was on Christmas Day. It was an embarrassment. So I think
somebody
the Chiefs
came out. I don't know if it was Travis or Pat. I think it was Travis in his press conference said we literally gave them a gift. Yeah. They had no business winning that football game, and we handed it to them.
Yeah, so I think everybody in that building's pissed off. Everybody's sleeping on the Chiefs now, and fairly so. I mean, this is the most beatable they've been, and
unless Santa dropped off some stickum down there. Have you ever seen the replacements when he sticks his hand and all that? Stickum. Unless they brought that for Christmas, I mean, I could see why people like the Bengals here. I mean, Granted, Kansas City's defense has been playing great, but if they have no offense or can't get it going with their offensive side and they can't catch the football, they're gonna look scary, and you can't have that, especially when they go to the playoffs and have to face the Bills again, and they're gonna have to face the Ravens. Like,
Well,
you're
the
gonna
thing
need
is,
everything.
it doesn't matter who they face. It's not going to be at Arrowhead like it always
Yeah.
has been. It's
That,
going to
I
be
was going to say, it's going to be really interesting to see Patrick Mahomes have to play in a away playoff game.
yeah, it's going to be a tough environment wherever they go for sure.
Hopefully somewhere like very cold.
Yeah, Buffalo. Well, they're not going to Buffalo, but that would be awesome if they somehow could. But
Well, they'll host round one by luxury of winning the West.
yes, but they're going to have to play a road playoff game at some point, which is going to be interesting. Parker, you're right. Their receivers can't catch the ball, and everybody's taking away Travis Kelce. They're going to have to get some help in the offseason.
Jamar Chase is out though for the Bengals.
Yeah,
For his
which
shoulder.
Jamar out, Joe Burrow out. I think the Bengals die this week, and the playoffs are gone.
Yeah, time for the Bengals. Had a rough year with they got dealt a rough hand with injuries this year. You'll have that. It's the NFL. Rebuild, get a better draft pick, get a good guy in the draft, move on.
Yeah.
Take your lumps.
It's not on our slate, but let's get into the Bears and the Falcons this week. We got to watch the Bears on Christmas Eve in person, and the Bears tried to piss the game away, but they did come out and win. I think Atlanta comes up into a cold, windy Soldier Field and loses.
Yeah.
I think the Bears take it money line. I won't take them on any points of any sort. But Justin's frustrated. The offense is frustrated. I mean, Luke Getsy's got to change, but I will still die on the sword that is the Bears.
The wild part is, even with a loss, the Bears are not mathematically eliminated.
I mean, we're not mathematically eliminated, but we're eliminated. And I think all we're going to do is win these garbage games against the Cardinals and the Falcons and ruin our draft pick even more. And that's just how the Bears are going to go.
It just shows them, and we're showing improvement though. I like seeing the improvement as much as it hurts our draft pick. We're still going to have the number one pick, so it doesn't matter.
Well, the improvement's in the defense.
Yes.
The offense is just plateaued, and the defense is carrying, which is traditional Bears football. So
And Herbert finally, I said it to you and Parker at the game, Herbert finally looks healthy again for the first time since he got hurt like week 4 or 5.
yeah,
So I would have made a lot more money on that game if I would have known that he was finally healthy again. Final one.
Our final one is Packers at Vikings. Vikings are -1.
Yeah, I think the Bears are going to win too.
Good. Sorry, buddy. I knew where you were at with that one. With this Vikings and Packers game, Vikings are starting Jaron Hall, a rookie.
It's moot to have a point in the Vikings' favor since then.
So they're not trusting the Packers defense against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
Well, they're sitting their top cornerback.
Jair,
The Packers are. Jair's out.
He got suspended
sitting
for the bullshit
by
he
the
pulled on
team.
the point toss last week.
Really?
TJ Hawkinson out for the next 8 to 12 months, though. Torn ACL.
Yeah. This is going to be a fucking terrible game, and the only thing I'll take is the under. Please and thank you.
What a Sunday nighter, huh?
That's the Sunday night
Yeah,
game?
Sunday night.
God, they needed to flex that out a long time ago.
Well, fuck it. There for a while, it looked like it was going to be for the division.
That's a terrible game. I'll take the under. Anybody else want anything
What
on
is
this?
it?
Doesn't matter.
44 and a
Yeah.
half.
I
I'll
want
take
the
the
under.
Vikings just to make a pick, but I don't like it.
Yeah, 44 is far too many points. Go ahead and give me the under.
Yeah.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you tired of the same old boring shirts? Well, we've got something exciting for you. Introducing the Tavern Sports Pocket Tee, where style meets passion for the game. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love the camaraderie of sports, Tavern Sports has got you covered. Literally. So what are you waiting for? Head over to tavern-sports.square.site right now and elevate your game day experience. Tavern Sports, beer, betting, sports. Guys, it is that time. It is lock of the weeks on New Year's 6 weekend. Where's everybody going?
First, Clark has Iowa State minus 10.5. I have no clue who they're playing or when or in what.
BYU.
No,
Right?
they have
Or,
Memphis.
Memphis.
They have Memphis, and I believe that is Friday night. So let's pull that up and make sure. We need to give his lock its dues. But
In the meantime, Cole's locking Bears minus 3.
okay, so Liberty, they're playing in the Liberty Bowl. Memphis and Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl. So minus 10.5 is terrifying with an Iowa State team, but you know what? He's got one last chance to bet on him this season. So go ahead and let him.
We'll let him have it.
I like the Bears minus 3 for Cole.
I like it too.
Parker,
I do
you
too.
ready for
I
us?
do. I think I'm going to keep us rolling on Friday. Give me Mizzou plus 3.5.
I like that.
Timeout. Line just changed.
Nope.
I
I want to.
want-
Nope. They're plus 3.5.
Plus
4.5. You want the extra
I'll
point?
take plus 4.5. then. I
All
thought
right.
they were going to go the other way.
Nope.
Nope. I will
4.5.
take the plus 4.5.
Ethan, do you want to give us yours real quick?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the playoffs. Give me Michigan minus 1.5.
Wow.
Wow, what a lock. He feels strongly about it.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about the lock of all locks this week, which we usually talk about every week, which is the Iowa under 35.5 for an Iowa team. No. With a backup freshman quarterback for the other team. No. Fuck that. Iowa under 35.5.
And I'll follow suit in the same game. I'm looking at Iowa plus 7.5 at minus 142 right now. So I'll be safe and give us the whole touchdown. Give me Iowa plus 7.5 at minus 142.
Now, Tyler, you promised us a teaser this week.
It's a New Year's 6 teaser. No other games. It is New Year's Day. We're taking LSU down to minus 2 against Wisconsin.
How many legs, how many points?
Oh, sorry. It's 5 points, 7.5, or 5 legs, 7.5 points. It's plus 350. It's not great, but it's what we had to do for one last ride. LSU minus 2, Oregon minus 10 against Liberty, Iowa plus 15, Alabama plus 9,
That's hot.
and Washington plus 12.
I love both of those last two lines.
So that's the final teaser. Throw some extra cash on this one, only being plus 350, but I feel really good about all those there. And that'll be done by Monday night at 10 o'clock. So
Well, and check Twitter on New Year's Eve in the morning. I'm going to try to get Tyler to do one for New Year's Eve because there's a lot of good games on the 31st.
we can get one out for New Year's Eve as well.
Maybe bundle Saturday and Sunday together. There's between those 2 days, there's 5 or 6 good bowl games. I feel like we could bundle.
Yeah, we can get one of those put out on social media. But I think that wraps it up for the week.
us.
Anybody else got anything they want to add before we go? All right, well then we gave you the picks. It's time for you to show us the money.
Show me the money.